Imagine this, a wedding night meant for love, celebration, and new beginnings. Suddenly stolen by the state. No consent, no escape, just fear, silence, and a ritual so disturbing that Rome later tried to wipe it from history. This is the horrifying wedding night practice that powerful empires preferred you never learn about. Marriage in the ancient world was rarely about romance. It was about power, property, bloodlines, and control. In early Roman and pre-Roman societies, especially in regions Rome conquered, marriage was not a private bond between two people. It was a political event, one the ruling class believed they had authority over. Among the darkest traditions associated with early Rome and the territories it absorbed was a ritual often whispered about, rarely recorded clearly, and later deliberately erased. A custom where a bride's wedding night did not belong to her husband. According to multiple ancient sources and later historians, in certain periods and regions under Roman influence, a bride was required to submit her first night of marriage to a ruler, noble, military commander, or local authority. This practice is often linked to what later became known as jus primae noctis, the rite of the first night. Whether fully institutionalized or enforced selectively, the impact was the same. The bride's body became a symbol of conquest. This was not about desire. It was about domination. When Rome expanded, it absorbed tribes, cultures, and lands across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Many of these societies already had harsh customs, but Roman rule intensified them. Marriage ceremonies were closely monitored. Brides were paraded publicly. Their purity was considered a resource, one that the state or ruling elite claimed ownership of. On the wedding night, instead of being led to her husband, a bride could be taken elsewhere, to a fortress, a villa, or a chamber guarded by soldiers. Her family could do nothing. Her husband could do nothing. Resistance meant punishment, exile, or death. This ritual sent a clear message. Your family, your marriage, and your future belong to Rome. For the ruling class, this was a way to humiliate conquered men. By taking what was most sacred to them, Rome reinforced its absolute authority. It reminded subjects that even their most intimate moments were not beyond imperial reach. Women suffered the most. These brides were often very young, married for alliance rather than choice. They were raised to believe obedience was survival. Many were told this ritual was an honor. Others were threatened into silence. The trauma was rarely spoken about, and when it was dismissed. Roman historians, almost all elite men, avoided detailing this practice. When Rome began to present itself as a civilized empire, focused on law, order, and morality, these customs became inconvenient. So Rome did what empires do best. It rewrote the story. Well, as centuries passed, references to the ritual became vague. Some texts mocked it as barbarian rumor. Others claimed it was misunderstood symbolism. A few insisted it never existed at all. But erasing something from official records does not erase it from lived experience. Fragments survived in oral traditions, local legends, and the writings of critics of Roman rule. Christian scholars later condemned such practices, indirectly confirming their existence by arguing against them. Medieval writers referenced the custom when criticizing ancient tyranny. Rome wanted to be remembered for roads, laws, and architecture, not for what it did behind closed doors on wedding nights. The truth is uncomfortable because it exposes how power operates. This ritual wasn't unique to Rome, but Rome perfected the system of control. By legalizing or tolerating such acts, it turned violence into tradition and oppression into ceremony. Over time, as Rome fell and new moral systems emerged, the practice faded, but the silence around it remained. History often celebrates empires for what they built. Rarely does it pause to mourn what they destroyed, especially the lives and dignity of women whose stories were never written down. The horrifying part isn't just that this ritual may have existed, it's that it was normalized, it was justified, and later, it was erased. Even today, debates continue. Some historians argue the ritual was exaggerated. Others say it was selectively enforced. But denial itself proves something important. Powerful societies decide which truths survive, and which ones don't. When you hear that ancient Rome was the foundation of civilization, remember this story. Remember that behind marble statues and golden laws were real people, forced to sacrifice their most personal moments to the machinery of empire. History is not just about victories and empires. It is also about silence, shame, and stories buried on purpose. If you believe hidden histories deserve to be told, don't let this story disappear again. Like, share, and follow for more dark truths history tried to erase, because the past only stays buried if we allow it.